Yeah, I mean,
one
they're
of the
supposed to serve
go
the
ahead.
country, and they're serving themselves. That's the crux of the issue. They are supposed to be serving the country, doing what's in the best interest of the country and the people, and they're not. They're just focused on what is best for them personally. And you see that they come out of office, with hundreds of millions of dollars on a $200,000 salary.
The floor leaders in D.C. thought they had every seat bought and paid for, but they just ran into a candidate who doesn't need their money and isn't afraid of their labels. We are witnessing a massive shift in Florida's 6th district as Dan Bilzerian takes a blowtorch to the establishment's playbook in this high-stakes sit-down with Kim Iversen. Welcome, viewers, to Floor Leader Insider, the only place where we look past the script and expose the lonesome reptiles in power. Let's be real, you've been watching these insiders promise you America first for years, only to see them execute a total rug pull the moment they get behind closed doors. They ship your wealth overseas while your own infrastructure crumbles. Bilzerian is naming the names and calling out the specific betrayal of the American voter. He isn't running to join the club, he's running to expose the political fraud that has turned our government into a service for foreign lobbies. Please like and subscribe, it really helps for the growth of the channel and allows us to keep bringing you these deep dives into the truth. Now, let's dive right into this exposure.
Okay, you're running for Congress. Why would you want to do something like this?
Well, I don't really want to. I just feel like everybody's pissed off. Everybody's talking about these things. Everybody knows what's going on, and there's not really a solution, barring some kind of a violent revolution, which I don't think, given our men's testosterone levels, is a realistic thing. And so I feel like we have to give it a try to, take it over traditionally. And I just don't see anybody else stepping up. I wish there was. I wish I didn't have to do it.
So you're running as a Republican against Randy. What has been the reaction?
Extremely positive. So we kind of announced the TMZ hit piece, and the bulk of it was them trying to pin me down as an anti-Semite, and it was like 95% of the comments were positive on all 5 of their platforms. So I think that was pretty telling. But I kind of knew when I did the Piers Morgan interview 2 years ago, and this was when it was like really taboo to talk about this stuff, and his entire comment section was positive. And so I was really surprised at how much people know. And I think the longer they know and the more they can't say anything, the more frustrated they get. And I think there's a huge undercurrent in America that wants change and is tired of putting a foreign nation before America. We got sold a bill of goods with the MAGA movement. And I think everybody's just really frustrated right now. So hopefully this will have a effect.
You supported Donald Trump, at least in 2016. Did you support him in the other 2 elections, 2020 and 24?
No. Well, 2020, I was I wasn't really one way or the other. 2024, I was pretty adamantly against him. Not that I was pro Kamala Harris. I thought she would be a disaster as well. But I was almost more on her side because I felt like people would follow her less. I felt like Trump had this cult blind allegiance following that would just follow him into a war with Iran. I predicted it happening before the election 2024, and sure enough, here we are. He's just been an absolute disappointment. And the biggest thing for me that pissed me off is his lack of honesty. And I think that's a big thing with politicians. That's one of the things I'd like to change the most, more than anything else, is having some real accountability, because people just say whatever the fuck is going to get them into office, and then they go in there and then they do whatever they want for themselves or for their donors, and they just have no allegiance to the truth. They have no allegiance to their audience, fan base, whoever got them elected. And it's really ridiculous, and there's no repercussions. Like, to me, that's fraud. Like, if you say you're going to do one thing and then you go into office and rug pull people, I don't know why that's not considered fraud. I just think there needs to be accountability across the board. Like, the media shouldn't be able to knowingly publish false information. And I actually think the fact that they put so much, in his words, fake news out about Trump, I think that's actually really helping him now, because there was so much nonsense published about him that his fan base just got used to, like, oh, it's fake news. It's fake news. Any criticism there, it's Trump derangement syndrome. They're a liberal. It's kind of almost like exactly what the left does. The left is like anti-Semite, Nazi. They have all these stupid keywords and they just shut down in debates, right? They don't debate with facts. It's just ad hom attacks. It's, it's you're a Nazi, you're a white supremacist, you're an anti-Semite. They just have all these words, the Holocaust, Nazi, blah, blah, blah. And they don't debate. And you see that now with Trump's side. It's like, oh, any criticism of Trump derangement syndrome, you're a liberal, you're just a pussy, blah, blah, blah. And it makes it difficult to have a real conversation when people reply like that.
Yeah. I think you make a really great point about Congress being fraudulent. And I'd never really thought of it that way before, but it is. I mean, they run on a certain platform, they get elected, they take our money. I mean, that's their paycheck. And then they don't do what they were elected to do. You're right. I think that is fraud. And maybe America can actually make cases against them and actually sue them in court or something. I mean, something's got to give on that front.
Yeah, I mean, they're supposed to serve the country and they're serving themselves. That's the crux of the issue. They are supposed to be serving the country, doing what's in the best interest of the country and the people, and they're not. They're just focused on what is best for them personally. And you see that. They come out of office, with hundreds of millions of dollars on a $200,000 salary.
Yeah. What are you going to do about your dual citizenship?
I don't have dual citizenship. I have 3 citizenships. And they're not really important. I mean, St. Kitts, it's just, Armenia, those are passports that get me into other countries without a visa. So it's more of a travel thing, but I don't care. I mean, if we can pass laws that say you have to have only U.S. citizenship to be in U.S. office, I'm completely behind that. My big issue is that any Jewish person can immediately get Israeli citizenship same day just because they're Jewish. So even if they don't hold the passport at that given time, they could have it later that day. They could have it tomorrow. And so I think if you're going to actually pass those laws, which I'm totally fine with, I don't care. I mean, I think I've used my other passports maybe once or twice. And I recently got them. It's not like I was born in Armenia or have, any like allegiance to that country over America. Armenia doesn't shape our foreign policy. They don't get aid. It's just like, it's a non-thought, and St. Kitts, a tiny little country place in the Caribbean. And basically they don't have any, corporate income tax. So there's like some benefit there, but it's not like I would ever be putting a foreign nation before America. The problem is Israel. That is the country that gets this special preferential treatment. We're giving them all this money. They do nothing for us. They never send us troops. They sell our secrets. I mean, they've been taking advantage of us, since their inception. And, that's really the problem. And Randy's whole thing of like, oh, I'm passing these laws to stop dual citizenship. It's all bullshit. Thomas Massey is the one that put those laws in place or proposed that legislature, and he shot it down. He actually voted against it. So now he's like trying to champion this bill that he voted against. It's just like, it's just a total sham. He's doing it. It's a total, virtue signal. Look at me, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, he's got the Israeli flag hung in his office higher than the U.S. flag, which is illegal. And he's putting a foreign nation before America. That's treason. So what this whole proposal that he's putting in place is just, it's all performative. It's nonsense. He doesn't actually believe that. He is Israel first, unequivocally, and that's my biggest issue with him.
Florida's 6th congressional district, what is the demographic of that? Is it heavily Jewish? A lot of the Florida districts are.
No, I mean, it's probably disproportionately Jewish for the population, but maybe 2%. I mean, it's not like Fort Lauderdale or Miami or something like that, or Boca. I think it's predominantly white. I mean, I've just looked at the demographic for the people that vote in the primaries, and it's definitely skewed a little bit older. But look, I mean, this is one of those things where I think people feel strongly about this issue. They're tired of foreign nations being put before America. This war's been a disaster. They're paying for it at the pump. They're going to see the downstream negative effects of this. We got nothing out of it. And the only reason we even engage in that war is because of Israel. It's literally the only reason. We said that. Like we said that, 18 different intelligence agencies said that Iran was not a credible threat in any way, shape, or form. They didn't have intercontinental ballistic missiles. They didn't have a nuclear program. They weren't developing. We supposedly destroyed it for 3 years. So we went into that war according to our government because Israel was going to strike them first. And so we wanted to be first. It's like, I think this kid might punch me, so I'm going to go beat the shit out of him. I mean, it's absurd. And what did we do? We went and bombed a children's school. We're not in the right here. Everybody sees that. We're not accomplishing anything. It's a total disaster. I mean, if we can even get to the status quo that we were at before the start of the war, that would be a massive victory at this point. We've been embarrassed on a global scale. Trump showed everyone his ass. He's made all these false threats, which has weakened America. It's weakened our political perception. Because how many times can you cry wolf before people stop taking you seriously? And that was a big source of our power, was that people, our threats seemed real, credible. And so,
Okay.
I just think it's very obvious at this point. What he's doing is detrimental.
Are you running for Congress to run for Congress, or are you running against Randy Fine specifically? Like if it wasn't him, because like you just said, this congressional district is skewing older. I think you would fare better in a younger district, like maybe Miami type of a thing. Or is it that you're just running against Randy Fine?
Well, no, I could definitely win easier in other spots. I think unseating him is important. I think the optics of that are very important. I think it's showing people kind of the sentiment of America right now. I think it'll encourage people to run on a similar platform in 2028. I mean, a lot of people think that my message probably can't win. You got guys like Fishback out there that are pushing a little bit more of a vanilla message and having some success with the younger demographic. So now the question is going to be, will that younger demographic come out and vote? I think that for the first time, they probably will, because this is something that's super important to them. And I don't think the youth has ever been as informed as it is now. So I'm optimistic.
What we just saw is the sound of the paper siege finally tearing. Bilzerian is doing something the floor leaders never expected. He's treating political lies as criminal fraud. For decades, the reptiles in DC have treated their campaign promises like disposable scripts, saying whatever it takes to get the vote, then pivoting to serve the insiders and foreign interests the second they take the oath. Think about the reality he's exposing. While your infrastructure crumbles and inflation eats your savings, the vault in Washington is wide open for foreign borders. He's calling out the special relationships that have become relationships of control, where the American taxpayer is the one being controlled. By accusing his opponent of treason for prioritizing a foreign flag over our own, he's hitting the establishment where it hurts the most, their supposed loyalty. He's not just attacking a person, he's attacking a system of blackmail and bribery that he says has compromised the very foundation of our republic. He's naming the influence of the lobbyists and the media power brokers who try to silence anyone who puts Americans first. He didn't choose this fight because he needs a job. He chose it because he believes the house of cards is finally falling, and the youth of this country are finally seeing through the gaslighting. So here is the insider question for you tonight. If a candidate finally stops playing the word games and starts calling the establishment's actions treason, is the system even capable of a peaceful correction? Or is it too far gone? Are we ready to hold these floor leaders legally accountable for the rug pull on the American mind? Get in the comments, hit the like button, and let's get the truth out there. I'll see you in the next one.